Can you check for me and see if everything is up on YouTube? Testing, testing. Hello, 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 all my good friends. Come on in. Make sure you say hello in the comments. We got some talking to do, cousins. Really, basically, let me make myself bigger because I want to make sure you guys can see me. I have been receiving like anonymous letters, and some of the anonymous letters have been an eye opener for myself. And I wanted to jump in and let's talk about it, right? Because there is no way to do it without just diving right into it. And if you're new to me, hello, I'm Dominique Nash of Welcome to the Nash House. We are on all platforms. So right now we're streaming live on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube. And I really want us to talk about the perspective that two anonymous writers have sent me. Okay. So we're going to dive into it. I'm going to pull it up on here so I can read. I want you guys to really give me your feedback and let me know how you feel or what do you think about the perspective of this viewer. Now, a little bit of backstory with the viewer. Okay. This viewer says that they have been around since, well, they found me when me and my family had to experience homelessness for 6 months. That's how they discovered us. Mind you, we are a family of six. It's my husband, myself, our four children, and my dog. Okay, so there was a couple of other messages that were pertaining more to them, but what stood out for me was the part that pertained about me. All good on TikTok. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me know. All right. So I'm going to read to you. And this is, let me see, one, two, three, four. This is a 4-page letter that was sent to me. So it says, it's not that many people that you can get advice from that will stick through it no matter what. It's not that many women that I know that when I grew up, because I'm a little older than you, which is so I'm assuming that the viewer is older. I'm almost close to 40, just to give you some context. It said if I had 3 children, I have four actually. So I have four. If I had 3 children and had to go homeless, sweetie, I probably would have left my husband, go and get out to go get a shelter. I would have went to the shelter and I would have gotten um, temporary housing because it says because I would have said dude would have beat me up. I know people that have done that. I know people have had children and used that to get out of their mama's house and get an apartment and then get on food stamps and then get on Section 8 since they had all of that and they didn't need a man in the house. I know people that have done that, and it's so refreshing to see that you stayed with your husband. All right, let's go to the next one. With your children and your husband and you being homeless, do you know and understand uh, that I would have left my spouse? It's not that many women that I understand that I can vent to that is supportive of me. So she must be going through something herself. Being with my husband, if I tell him how I may feel, it makes me feel because he never takes time to listen. I have to vent to these other women. I've realized the person that I've been at the most was the person that I vent to the most was my sister. And I now realize I was dead wrong. I should not have had my daddy in my marriage, but he was, and that was wrong. I realized just the way that you talk to your husband, I realized I have been out of order. Watching you introduce your husband and how you treat him, that is something that I have never seen or understood. And then when you introduced spirituality to me, it was taught to me to be demonic. You were the first person I have heard speak about spirit, and I have watched you struggle. Hold on, let me see where I'm at. But I watched enough to be encouraged to know that this is a family that I want to watch. I want to know. I know it says I want to need to be able to understand and think like you think, because I've never been exposed to it before. I've seen it too often that women don't stick by their husbands. I've seen it so often that I'm a little bit afraid. But I tell my kids all the time, if you've never been on 3rd Street, how will you know how it would end? I get it because I've never seen any woman in my family ever stick by her man. Thank you. She calls me D. She said, thank you, D, for being what I need to see. When we were homeless for 6 months, the thought never crossed my mind to not stand by my husband. Because when he and I got together, we had made a plan. And it sounds so corny, y'all. Was that our first date, honey, when we went to Dave & Buster's? First or second date, we went to Dave & Buster's, and they had this morph machine where I took a picture, he took a picture, and it combined to show us what our future children would look like. And we did it twice. So we got a little girl that looks just like my daughter. And then we had a little boy. And I asked him, I said, honey, do you want 2 kids? He said, well, a boy and a girl seems nice. I said, but I want more. He said, well, we could do 3. And I said, but then the third one won't have their sibling. He said, well, we'll do 4. And each time that we had a child, we lost those pictures. And we have 4 children. The reason why, and if you're watching, whoever you are that sent me this message, the reason why you have never seen a woman stick by her husband is because they didn't know how to. They had everybody else but them in their relationship. You said it yourself. You had your sister. You had your daddy. Excuse me, guys. We had to learn very hard by losing everything that we had built up for 15 years together, losing connections and relationships to my parents, my siblings, my cousins, everybody that raised him. They all just went away. It seemed like it was heartbreaking, but it was the biggest blessing that we could have ever had, because we truly knew the vows that we took when we said through death do us part, through sickness and in health. We stood by that. Leaving my husband was never a thought on my mind. We had got to the point to where we ran out of money. And I called the shelter and they said, we can take you and the kids, but your dog and your husband will have to go somewhere. And I would rather us sleep in the car than to separate. So whoever you are, If you are in your marriage, because it sounds like you're dealing with a storm, okay? Just know when that storm is coming, that chaos that you may feel, that's because God is preparing you for something new. And you have to release what has not been serving you. You can't hold on to it. You can't. You have to open up your hands and you have to release so that God can pour more abundance, blessings, lessons, love into your life. So stick by your husband. If it don't make sense to your family, it ain't for them. It's between you, your husband, and God. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I never knew that that was the blessing that you got from me being homeless. I only share my homeless journey because if I didn't, it was going to drive me insane trying to hold it in. And little do y'all know that reading y'all encouraging words, and some of y'all would go at the people that had some stuff to say. Y'all don't know how much that blessed my heart. Because my own family, they didn't have nothing nice to say. Nobody did. But God did. So, listen, if you're going through a time right now in your life where you feel the storm, you feel like things ain't adding up, it's so much resistance, don't keep fighting it. That just means whatever you've been praying for, either you've been praying for it subconsciously or you've been real intentional about your prayers, or you decided to step in a new lane for yourself. If you stepped into something new, you're going to have to allow the chaos to happen, because that's when your blessing is coming. Delisha said, yes, you got to release. It's a part of your story. You cannot leave it out. You cannot. You cannot. Listen, I appreciate the anonymous messages that I receive. I got another one. But this one made me cry. I was literally making my husband some breakfast, and I got it was like a 5-part message. And she asked to remain anonymous. And I love to honor that. But when I heard her words saying that she was raised by 3 bitter women, and if she had children and lost their home like I did, she would have left her husband, went to a shelter, got on food stamps, got on Section 8. And I want y'all to know that that path is much harder. We got to stop allowing temporary benefits to be a lifetime of pain, man. I know, because my family did not understand why I didn't put my husband on child support. He at home taking care of him. What I need to put him on child support for? But we have been programmed by this welfare system that we need these benefits. I have cousins that celebrate because they got a Section 8 voucher. And then when she ran out of benefits, she don't even know how to pay rent. And she over 40, you know. Like, these programs, they weren't meant for our good. It was the downfall of the family. And lady, you gotta be by your husband through thick and thin. Through thick and thin. Because there's gonna become a moment. Divide and conquer. That's what they did. There's gonna be a moment in your life where you, as the wife, might get sickly. You might not be able to do all the things to take care of the house. Does that mean that your husband should no longer love you?
No. That means that all the times that you were there to be there, to pour into him, to fix him meals, to clean the house, now it's time for you to rest so he can do it for you. Compassionate empathy are the keys to set us free. Love is not about financial gain and benefit, y'all. That was a lie. A lie. People are valuable because without people, the world doesn't feel good to live in. There's nothing to spend money on. We won't even have money if there's no people. Thank you for sending me that message. I'm going to read the second one. Bear with me, y'all. Now, this second one, it was a lot of questions. I mean, it was a lot of questions. Okay. It was so many. So I'm gonna read it. I did ask this person because I got to see who it was. It's a trap. I like that D. Y'all go follow Delisha. I love her. She said, "Hey Dominique, as someone with high visibility, and this is off of TikTok. Both of these are off of TikTok. Okay. As someone with high visibility, how do you manage the responsibility that comes with having more eyes on you? Do you know how to confidently walk the line between the image and the face of your brand and being authentic to yourself?" That's two questions. Okay. Do you feel like you're worthy and enough? And enough got quotations around it. Okay. To be seen as a thought leader while not saying the wrong, got quotations around it, thing to avoid being misunderstood or canceled? That's the third question. How do you navigate the responsibility that comes with being in the spotlight and seen as a leader and needing to make quick decisions to move the needle forward faster towards your goals without overriding your intuition and logic? That's the fourth. After all of the accomplishments, how do you manage living a fulfilling life? She asked me 5 questions. So I'm going to go with the first. As someone with high visibility, how do you manage the responsibility that comes with having more eyes on you? I'm me. That's it. I enjoy and I love being me. Second question. Do you know how confidently to walk the line between being the image and the face of your brand and being authentic to yourself? Yes. Because I tried being a persona. I tried being a brand. But the most beautiful way for me to continue this journey, starting out at zero, not having no audience, but still creating content with the intention to be myself, to show my creativity, to have an outlet as a stay-at-home mom who had to retire in her 20s just to save her son's life so he can get here. So I tried all of that and it did not work. And it broke me. And the biggest lesson that I had to learn was vulnerability. I had to stop trying to be something that I wasn't and start being me by sharing I was homeless, by sharing how even though I lost everything, I want y'all to know the same day that we were moving out of our single family home, 2-car garage, 2-bathroom, 3-bedroom house we had been living in for 6 years. Nobody came to help us unpack the house. It was just me, my husband, my kids, and my dog. And everybody knew that what we were going through. Nobody came to help. My husband does not drive. He tried to drive our car while I drive the U-Haul truck. Boom! Had an accident. So the same day that we was homeless, we lost our car. And he was so distraught. And all I remember is saying, honey, you're going to stop. You're going to need to stop being hard on yourself because I need you. And you can't crumble right now. And I couldn't call my mom because she was mad at me. My dad was living in a different state and he already told me he wasn't going to help. He stopped answering the phone. You know, he just stopped answering the phone. And the 6 years was at the house, we housed people. And thank you, nobody helped us that we was there for. Nobody. But God. So I got it. My mom has 8 siblings. At this time, only 6 of them were living. One of my uncles, he's my favorite uncle. He was a crackhead my whole life. And I was the only person that ever treated him like a person. He would stay with us whenever he would get out the what do you call that place when they go to get rehabilitation center. He was the only person that talked to me, and he would listen to me and spend time with me. And he been clean for about 20 years. And God told me to call him. And I ain't want to. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because how my mom is set up, if she mad, she done called everybody to tell them only her side of the story. So now there's a whole multitude of people mad at me that don't even know anything. They just know that she's the mother and I'm the child, which is an adult, and I must be wrong and she must be right. So I didn't want to call him. But God said, call your uncle. I called him. He didn't answer. I left him a message. I said, and I was so broken up. Uncle, please call me back. I need help. And I ended it. He called me back. He said, Nanny Boo, what you doing? Why you crying? What's wrong with my Nanny Boo? And I told him, I said, Uncle, we got evicted. It's our day to move out. But because we ain't had no help, my husband tried to drive. And we done had a car accident and my car's total. I can't move it. He said, oh, okay, I'm on my way. Hung up. I look around, my husband, he was sitting on the ground and he was just so distraught. Like, it was right down the street from my house. So our kids are at the house. I done called my daughter and she's panicking, you know, because her parents are right down the street and they had a car accident and we got to move. It was... So my uncle comes, police come, I tell the truth. I didn't lie. We both told the truth. I didn't try to say I was driving because I knew I had a license and he didn't know. We told the truth because the truth shall set you free. The officer had empathy. Even though my husband didn't have a driver license, they just gave him a ticket and we would have to deal with that later. My husband he works at AAA, so we called AAA to come pick up the car. but we still got to get to the storage unit because time is ticking on this U-Haul that somebody that didn't even know me paid for. My son's wrestling coach just gave us a check for $200 because he knew we was going through. That man didn't know me from a can of paint. Do you understand? So we finally get up to the U-Haul. My uncle now, even though he been 20 years clean, he kind of addicted to food. So he got this big old bubble gut, you know. So he like, Nanny boy, I'm not too much help, but I'm finna get you some help. And he brings up people that he connected to help us move everything into the storage. And I asked him if he could call his wife, my aunt, to take me back to the house so I can get to my kids because they panicking and calling me. My daughter, she comes, my aunt comes, and she has me to drive because she can't really see at night. And we go to the house, and my baby girl's just crying. She crying. Where is Dad? I said he unloading the U-Haul truck, but we got to get back up there. So put them in the car. I ain't got no car seat or nothing, y'all. And Draxton is 3, but I'm praying that we gonna make it in time. But then the U-Haul, I mean the AAA person, the pickup truck calls and says that he down the street where my car is. I'm like, oh God, okay. So we go down there. He tells me right away, the car is a total loss. A total loss. A total loss. So I call my husband, I tell him, and I'm like, listen, we can't fall apart. Let's just keep going. He said, okay, I'm on my way up there. Go up there. The car is being towed to the collision place. Thank God that we actually had insurance coverage at this time. And the kids stay in the car with my aunt. My uncle got his own car. So we driving a U-Haul truck back and forth, and we got help to try to finish packing up this house. My uncle, he said, Nanny boo, I don't know what's going on between you and your mom. He said, but I fussed at her because ain't no way in hell they'd have left you like this. And I said, Uncle, I can't even focus on that right now because I'm holding it together with bits of string. He said, don't cry, Nanny boo. This man threw hundreds. It's just hundreds just in my hand. And I can't even. And I was saying, Uncle, thank you. But he said, no, you keep crying. And it was more hundreds. It was just hundreds. He said, Nanny boo, all those times, I know I don't talk about it, but all those times that I was on crack and I was in your safe space when I shouldn't have been, you always treated me with respect and dignity. And I've been waiting for the day that I could do back for you. My uncle gave me almost $1,300 that night. And I was so grateful. And we finally got the house unpacked. And my husband had booked us a room at the Best Western. And we got there. And the little kids had a bunk bed. And then there was another bed for my daughter and a pull-out bed for my son and a bed for me and my husband. My dog was so confused. Like, it really tore my family upside down, y'all. But it was the best blessing that could have ever happened to us. Because the more that I went through this fire, that's a fire. You know how they say a phoenix rising out the ashes? We went through a literal death and a rebirth. It took 6 months. It took a lot of ornery people, a lot of hard lessons. People would welcome us in. So after we spent that night, my husband had met a cousin doing a photo shoot that he didn't even know. She had reached out to him on Facebook. We are so grateful for her because she is essential to this story of us being rehoused. Okay. She didn't know my husband for real, but she knew that we were going through because we welcomed him over during Christmas, talking about what we was going through. And she was like, well, this house need a lot of work. So they doing y'all a favor. It did. We had a slumlord. It needed a lot of work. But I was grateful. And she got another cousin that was an elder. She had a whole condo that's here in St. Louis, fully furnished, that she don't use. And she lives in a different state. And she told my husband to ask her. And she said, yeah, y'all can stay there. Because we needed to wait for this court case to be cleared off of our background, because we spent over $800 applying for new places, even though we fulfilled our obligation and paid these people for months in advance that they didn't even deserve, paying late fees for months ahead of time. Almost $4,000 these people got from me and my husband. And because we had an eviction on our record, we were deemed unrentable. How is that fair? How? You tell me that I can't even try to get another place to stay because these laws have been changed since COVID happened. That the state in Missouri is a landlord-friendly state, which means that if you have an eviction on your record, you are automatically the scum of the earth. You don't deserve a place to live? How is that right? And people would say, well, there's resources. There were none. Those fake programs, they had no resources. It is so demeaning to go through the same process to call 411 for them to, or 211, I'm sorry, for them to tell you all the list of these companies to call, for them to just reroute you back to 211. There are no resources. None. So every time we would share everything that we were going through, we would get the same comments, but this was because I wasn't healed yet. I was attracting all of the negativity because the pit of me was hurt. I don't understand how two working adults can be homeless. I see a background. I see your hair done. I see you have nails on. Sounds like you're just irresponsible. Heartless. But they were mirroring what I felt on the inside. All of the negative things I had heard before we even had to go down this road. All because I saw a dream. I saw a vision. I saw a way for me to still use my masculine energy and all my degrees by building up platforms that nobody in my lineage understood. But then they will turn around and send me Tabitha Brown's video. You're going to turn around and send me somebody else's videos, but tell me it's not good enough for me. Tell me it's not good enough for me. I don't know why you just ain't using your degrees, because I want to raise my children. I literally had to retire from doing hair, which I've been styling hair since I was 12 by force. I just embraced it. I alchemized that energy. It was negative energy. I got beat. I got beat because I didn't know how to put up a damn ponytail. But instead of allowing that to tear me down, no, I saw it as a creative outlet. So I turned that pain into a hobby. I went to school for it. I got my license for it. I did that for 20 plus years. But when we found out that I was pregnant with Draxton, my doctor told me if I continued to stand on my feet, I was going to lose my child. And his life was not worth a hobby. Sorry. But what came with that is that I didn't want to do hair anymore. And my mom, she was addicted to me doing her hair because she was addicted to getting it done for free. And she didn't want to accept that I didn't want to do it anymore. You're always on the internet. You're always on your phone. You're always doing this. You're always doing that.
because this is the lane that I have chosen for myself. I gave all that I could to the hair game. I did great. I was in fashion magazines. I got to meet a lot of celebrities and style their hair. I got to do the one thing that I was so afraid of. I got to be a part of a big hair show. I did my dream. That is no more for me. This is the lane that I choose, but you can't support it. But you can sit up here and watch somebody else's YouTube channel. Come on now. But anywho, back to the story. So we get into this condo, and the moment that we get there, now the lady's changing everything. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut the time short. Because my neighbors, they saying they see a U-Haul truck. Y'all trying to move in. Well, that's the only thing we have to drive right now. Our car was totaled. We don't have a car anymore. It got to the point to where I was crying every day. Was. But in this house, it was like we went back in time. It reminded me of when I was born in the 80s. There was one TV. It was in the basement. And it was one of them big floor model TVs, because y'all know what TVs I'm talking about. Them big TVs. They got the VCR in there, got the radio. And she ain't had no internet. And there literally were only a few channels that worked down there. And I promise you, God was talking to me and my kids through Veggie Tales. They kept telling me about the story of Ruth. And I told my husband, I said, honey, God is talking to us. He said, I know. I said, he talking to our kids too. So he only had a certain amount of time they could take off work, because he worked from home. When you don't have a home, kind of hard to work from home. Yeah. But thank God for his job being flexible. So less than a month comes past. We had to celebrate my daughter's birthday in someone else's home. She turned 13 in somebody else's home. I had to get a U-Haul truck back. I tried to call my mom and say, hey, can we use your car? I mean, I don't know why y'all can't just, bud. Okay. So then I found this app called Turo. If you ever in the need for a rental car and you don't have a credit card, because we didn't have a credit card, use Turo. It came in clutch for me. And then we did have a credit card, but we didn't feel like going through Hertz or Enterprise. Turo was working through Chime. But anyway, each day our time is getting cut shorter and shorter. So it's making it to where it's impossible for us to really wait on a court case, because we had to wait on the judge to come off of her holiday. She was on vacation while we homeless. Now, we done fulfilled our obligation. We just need her to raise the clearance of the case, so that when people search our names, that case doesn't come up, because we have already fulfilled our obligations. Been fulfilled it, okay? But she on a holiday. So since she on a holiday, it's going to take us a few months to get heard, says my attorney per legal aid. Okay. So she's upset, his cousin, because she feels like she got bamboozled, and she don't understand why he didn't go to his house that he grew up with with his aunt, and all of this other stuff. It's chaos. Chaos is still brewing. Now she want us to be mad at the lady who told us about her having a house, but she said yes. It so much chaos. So I said his cousin, she gave us some money to go ahead and book a Airbnb. She said she being too messy and she want to sue and all of that. I'm just gonna move y'all to Airbnb. I'm gonna pay for it. There's still somebody who don't know me and him for real. So I made my first mistake because I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, cousin.
I done booked the Airbnb for 2 weeks straight. I ain't breaking up or nothing. So I done paid so much money for the weekend, not knowing what I'm doing. Cause I ain't never been homeless like this before. I've been homeless when I was a child though. A lot. But as an adult, this is my first time with children and a husband. So I didn't overpay for 2 weeks in this Airbnb. It was a nice one. I would always recommend you guys book through Verbo, not Airbnb, because we did that. And the host, he just stayed around because he was afraid we was going to try to live there. It's like, I paid you the money to be here. I don't need you to hover. But anywho, 6 months. We get a car because my mom doesn't want to help. I get myself, me and him, we get ourselves in this tremendous amount of debt with this van. $560 a month for the car note, $400 for the insurance. Huge amount of debt. But we needed a way to move around, because when you don't have a stable home to stay at, you need something. So we get this van. We're able to move a little bit better. I learned my lesson. Only do the verbos Sunday evening through Friday morning. On the weekends, Friday evening through Sunday morning, you go to hotels. Learned how to do that. And I had a partnership with Expedia at this time, so they was giving me really good rates. I mean, great rates. And they would tell the people that I was one of their hotel reviewers. So we got great treatment, made content out of all of that. Post the content, cousin. Post the content. And my dream of learning how to be authentic to me and love me is what I learned. Now that's just part of the story, but I'm gonna go back to the questions because I forgot. Okay, Soul Redola says, Dominique Nash, you're so strong for opening up and sharing. Somebody needs to hear this. Uncles are the best. They are. Okay, so that's how I stay authentic to myself and not try to be a brand or a face or a name or any of that, because I had to learn the true key to connection is vulnerability. And it will reach your true audience. It will bring compassion and empathy and relatability to those who are truly attracted to that frequency. The next question she asked me, do you feel like you're worthy and enough to be seen as a thought leader while not saying the wrong thing to avoid being misunderstood or canceled? When you be your authentic self, I'm not really worried about being canceled, because if it does not align, then it must decline. If you must go, then you must go. If I irritated your spirit, then you were not around for the right reason. That's it. And then she said, how do you navigate the responsibility that comes with being in the spotlight and seen as a leader and needing to make the quick decisions to move the needle forward faster towards your goal without overriding your intuition with logic? I'm really deeply connected to the divine. I meditate. I pray. I thank my spiritual guides, my angels, my ancestors, the Most High God, Source, Creator. I am so connected to the frequency that nobody else can tell me how to think outside of what God says to me. Because when I was homeless, that's when I heard God the most ever in my life. There was not a pastor that could tell me what God said. There was not a family member or friend that could tell me what God said, because God was talking directly to me. God wasn't just talking to me. God was talking to my husband too. In the middle of the night, we would wake up in God's hours. That's 3 a.m. to 5. We would just wake up, and God would put it on his heart to read scriptures and study. And then when I wake up, I would just go into worship and praying. We did this as a unit. We prayed with our children. Each place that we went to only had one television. One television to stop idle minds. Most of the vacation rentals, the television is in the living room. So when you go in the bedroom, it's quiet. So God can talk. God can make you listen. Isolation is a blessing. It is not a punishment. Ask me how I know how? Because I went through it. That isolation brought me closer to God. So nobody can tell me who God is. Nobody. All right, let me go to the next question. Sorry, cuz. All right. So I don't need anything to override my logic because I got my strong intuition and discernment. Okay. After all the accomplishments, how do you maintain living a fulfilling life? I shared this yesterday when I went live on Facebook, and I posted my live as a video here on TikTok. You must take time, downtime, take care of yourself. You too, Delisha. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourself and smell the roses. If you don't smell the roses of your achievements, if you don't write down all the things that you have done since you have been intentional with what you have been doing, then you will not be able to move forward with clarity. You will not be able to move forward with love. You will not be able to move forward walking in your purpose. You have to take time to ground yourself. Go out in nature. People, I'm always outside, y'all. Always outside. People be like, oh, it's so hot. I'd be like, what? Man, I'm connected to the ancestors with this heat. Because most of our ancestors were always outside. Don't complain about that heat. Embrace it. Understand that you reliving a part of your life because you are your ancestors. You just got further in the game. You got to understand that. A fulfilling life is a choice. It is the perspective that you take. Are you grateful for life, or are you going to complain? That's my question to you guys. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I truly appreciate it. I hope this has blessed your heart as much as it had blessed mine. And thank you so much to the 2 viewers who had wonderful questions and comments. I hope that I continue to inspire you to live out your dreams. God bless, guys.